Okay, so we're going to talk about why God lets bad things happen in a world that he claims to love, right? There's actually a very important understanding when it comes to this. We are viewing God and the world's suffering as from a dualistic lens, and that is the very root of the suffering, right? So let's take the biblical stories, two of them. One of Satan's rebellion from God, where he was once in heaven and he rebelled and was cast out, right? And that is the identical same story, just another metaphorical story. That the same point that story is saying is also Adam and Eve, the eating of the fruit of good and evil, right? It's not an actual fruit. The good and evil are two things, right? Two things. Two is duality, right? It's because it was us. It wasn't some separate force you call Satan. It wasn't two people called Adam and Eve. Why would you have to suffer for something someone else did? You wouldn't. But the reality is there is no other person. So that very action was what you did. Because we are all one. There is only God. There is only oneness. But out of all of that infinity, the one minute perspective of limitation that wanted to know itself was because it didn't trust what it was from. It didn't trust its source. That's what you call Satan. And that path is what created the dualistic material world, the Maya, the illusion, right? And why is this world suffering? It is because we chose to leave. And you could say, no, we didn't. I didn't choose that. Well, yes, you did. Maybe you think you're this physical form. But if you're here, no matter what you are, if you're an insect, a plant, an animal, a human, anything, if you're here, yes, you did, because we're all one. It is all part of that same consciousness, right? Why does bad things happen? Because we chose. We left the oneness in the pursuit of our own thing, right? And existence cannot be without oneness. There is only suffering, right? So this is hell. This is hell, right? The perspective of duality is hell. That's what births suffering. And now, even when we realize oneness, there's still suffering in the world because other perspectives haven't realized this. But keep in mind, as you live the perspective of oneness, that the duality is still present. You just must not identify as it and with it, right? Let all of the struggles of the world, the fact that you need to eat food to survive, the fact that there is something out there that must sustain you, these are all metaphors showing you the limitation of duality. And the only way you can transcend that is to strive for God, which is that oneness, right? Because you're a part of it. You're not separate from it. So stop looking out for it. Just shift your perspective to the fact that you are one with God. You and the Father are one. Shift your perspective to it is not good versus evil. Good and evil is the very problem. That is the forbidden fruit. The suffering of the world is only a result of your dualistic lens of it. And understand that let this life be a reminder to you. Let it be a reminder that duality is limited and oneness is the only way. Yeshua spoke as oneness, as a physical manifestation of oneness. So when he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, no one comes to the Father, no one comes to God but through me. He was speaking as the identity of oneness. So that was actually saying oneness is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one can come to the Father but through realizing oneness. So there really isn't suffering. It's just your false perspective. It is your satanic perspective of separation that is causing your suffering.